Hey guys, today we're going to go over reassembling the 2011 STI pistol. The last episode was disassembling, so let's get to it. We have the grip, it's emptied, nothing in there, and first we need to put the trigger back on. I like to oil up the trigger bow on the sides and in the back, so take your favorite oil. Just, you don't need to put too much on, just a little bit. And I like to kind of just smear it on a little bit. And then coat the back. And then we'll just slip it into place. There it goes. Alright, in order to retain this, we need to put the magazine release button back in. So we'll slide that back in. We'll take our flathead screwdriver and again, pressing on the magazine release, we're going to turn 90 degrees clockwise this time, finding that groove. There it goes, locked into place. Alright, let's put on the mag button before we forget. Okay. Alright. Now let's put this back onto the frame. Got the frame right here. Slides back on like so. And then we're going to start putting those nuts back in. And if you remember the last episode, I talked about this flat edge on this nut. Well, this is going to meet up with the frame. And I don't know if you could see. Let me see if I can get a flashlight in here. But I don't know if you could see, there's this ledge in that frame, and that's where it's going to meet up. So I'll put it back in. I'll line it up. And again, on this particular pistol, it's a pretty tight fit, so there we go. Just felt it pop back into place. Then I'm going to take the screw, put that back in, and tighten this down. I'm going to do the other side. Alright. So if we can get it the rest of the way by screwing it in. Gonna hold it so it doesn't rotate. There we go. Tighten that down. Now that these two screws are in, it's time to put in the trigger guard screw. So I'm going to take my sleeve here, pop it in on one side. I don't think it matters what side it goes in, but it's pretty tight on this gun, so I'm going to hammer it in with a nylon hammer. Okay, take the other side of the screw. Again, we need a pair of Allen keys. I'm going to start threading it on the other side. Since it's so tight, I'm going to see if I can just tighten it. Nope, just rotates. So I'm going to hold that in place. Then I am going to tighten on this side. There we go. Now the grip is attached to the frame. We need to put the fire control group, the hammer, the sear, the grip safety back into place. So let's start with the sear and disconnector. Again, this is the disconnector and this is the sear. I'm going to place the sear on top. So I'm going to take my needle nose pliers. I'm going to hold the disconnector in the middle and thread the disconnector through this hole from the underside of the frame. And as you can see, the disconnector comes out. Alright, now we need to pin this in place or use the pins. If you remember the two pins holding the sear and disconnector and the hammer together, it's going to be the smallest of the pins and it's going to go left to right. And there's a taper on one side, so it can only go in one way. What I like to do, take a punch that's smaller than the pin, work it through the other side to kind of give it a guide. You're going to have to go again through both the sear and the disconnector. So just kind of find that groove. And sometimes this is kind of a pain. There we go. So now you can see my punch through the other side. I'm going to lay it flat and I'm going to guide this pin through like that. There it goes. Next is the hammer. This is the hammer and strut. We're going to place this back in. Take the bigger of the two pins, and again, just like the hammer or the sear and disconnector pin, it only goes in one way. There's a taper on one end. So we're going to line up the holes and place the pin in like that. Alright, now we can move the hammer and the hammer strut out of the way. We'll take our leaf spring, and you'll see on the bottom of the leaf spring there's this notch, and then you'll see another corresponding notch on the frame, or on the grip, and just line those two up and drop in the sear spring. One important thing to note is that the middle fork will lay on the disconnector, and the left fork will lay on the sear. Now we'll take the mainspring housing, slide it in, and hold the sphere in place, just enough to hold it. Move the strut back down. Take the plunger assembly. Small side goes in first. We'll take the grip safety. We'll insert that. We'll take the right side of the safety. Push it through that hole, rotate down. And then we'll take the main part, the left part of the safety, and just temporarily drop that in. So now, if you remember how we took it out, it was in between safe and fire, and we wiggled it out. It's going to go back in the same manner. So we're going to have to line these two halves of the safety up in that same position. And I like to kind of hold it in place while taking my punch and depressing this plunger down. And it should snap back into place. There you go. Safety is enabled. Alright, with the safety back on, it's time to put together the the grip safety and the mainspring housing, and button it up with the Magwell. For me, since I have that yellow plastic piece that pins this grip safety in, I'm going to put that back in. Oh, one other note. Make sure that the strut is centered, and it needs to line up with the mainspring housing. You'll see this cup in there that will need to line up with. So we'll get everything lined up. There we go. Put the Magwell back on. Make sure that snaps. And then we put the pin back. And we'll make sure it's evened up. There we go. Alright, the frame is back together. We'll set that aside. Alright, now let's put together the slide. Gotta put the barrel in first. And then the guide rod, still captured. And then we'll put it back onto the frame. go. And then we got to line up the barrel link so that we can insert the slide stop. There we go. Then we'll line up that notch again on the slide and push it into place. There you go. And then to release the lock on the guide rod, just cock the gun all the way. Let's do a function check real quick. Safety on. Gun's not going off. Safety off. And the hammer falls. Alright, subscribe and comment. If you guys find these videos useful, I'll start making more. Thanks for watching.